and welcome to Mike Nierychlo Online, sharing my love for people, wine, food, and all things made passionately. Alright, today's show. Before I get into three beautiful white wines from Quails Gate, a well-known wine producer of the Okanagan, I got a quick little thing I want to add to this episode. I'm going to need your help in the near future. Well, kind of ongoing. I'm going to start doing this episode to episode. At the end of the episode, I'll remind you of this, but this is the first time I'm talking about this. Wine depretentiosized. You know how the bottle's smashed in the intro you just saw like 30 seconds ago? How can I depretentiosize wine a little bit more? Okay. The whole idea of depretentiosizing wine has to do with taking the intimidation factor out of the wine world, so wine becomes more approachable for everybody out there watching, for myself as well. What I would really like is if you've got a question, a wine-related question, please comment on this episode or any future episode. I'll probably be reminding you in future episodes, your question. Now, here's the disclaimer about that. There's no such thing as a stupid question if you don't know the answer. Wine can do that to you. It can make you feel like, oh, I don't want to ask that question. I'll feel dumb. Or they're going to make me feel dumb. I'm not going to make you feel dumb. I'm excited for your questions. Heck, I still remember when I was getting into wine many, many moons ago, just trying to figure out or realize that the grape, or when it said on a label, Merlot or Chardonnay or Cab Sauv, it took me a while to realize that that was actually a grape, not really a type of wine. So, if you want to feel, I felt like an idiot back then too. We can all feel like idiots together, learning about wine and depretentiosizing the snot out of it so we can all enjoy it a little bit more. So, I'll remind you again at the end of the episode, but please don't forget, remember to shoot your comments below this episode. Heck, you can use the email as well to shoot me your questions, your wine questions, questions that you would really like an answer to do with wine. You could talk about variety, or climate, or terroir, or food pairing, or whatever question you might have that you don't know the answer to and you want me to give you the answer or find the answer for you, I'm happy to do so. I'll probably end up doing a few full episodes on some really good questions. Or really simple questions. Chances are if you've got a really simple question and you're really hesitating to ask, because there's probably a million other people out there who don't know the answer as well. So let's get into this episode. Like I said, Quails Gate Winery, beautiful British Columbia. These are, again, one of the pioneers of the BC wine world, very well known. They're in the same area as Mission Hill, all the other big guys right there on West Bank. What else can I say? They've stood the test of time. They've been making great wine. The Stewart family has been doing a great job. Got an excellent winemaker, Grant Stanley. Kind of reminds me of Kramer from Seinfeld. If you go back to my, well, if you click on, I can never remember which side of the screen. So I think it's this side of the screen. If you look at my BC wine country road trips, or wine tours, check out the one with Quails Gate. You'll see Grant Stanley. He's a blast for a winemaker, not a pretentious winemaker, just a goofball. Like I said, reminds you of Kramer. Hope he doesn't mind me saying that. Alright, first one we're tasting from Quails Gate. This is their 2009 Dry Riesling. Classic packaging. I believe this one runs for about $17. And I am going to get right into it. Now, Riesling from this area, from the Kelowna area of BC, tends to be the area where Riesling works. You've got places like Tantalus up there. Quails Gate's right there. Cedar Creek's right around the corner. All these big guys, a lot of them, their Rieslings or their aromatic whites tend to thrive really well. A little bit more northern in the Okanagan. Southern Okanagan, you tend to get your big reds where they get the real hot, ripe sunshine. Where the cooler weather, northern, still nice, warm weather, slightly cooler than southern. Northern tends to work well on your crisp whites. All right. Ooh. Ooh, I like that nose. Okay. Classic Riesling. Classic in a way that this reminds me of German Riesling, to be completely honest with you. Very much reminds you of German Riesling. From the area of Pfalz or something like that in Germany, which you've probably never tasted Riesling from there. If you get a chance to, awesome Riesling, good value. Germany makes amazing Riesling if you can understand the bottle. I'll have to, ooh, screen just went blurry. That was weird. Anyway, what I love about the nose on this, it's got a slightly sweet nose. You can smell the minerality coming through. Little bits of that sage and earthiness you get from the Okanagan. Minerality is in like wet gravel, I smell in this one. I get some really neat kind of honey meets pear meets hints of melon. Definitely some lemon in there. It's got a really neat nose, a very Riesling nose. Like this wine says, this is Riesling. And Riesling is arguably, and this, I don't have an opinion on this necessarily, but there are some very opinionated wine critics out there that Riesling is arguably the most versatile, best grape on the face of the planet for making wine. Who knew? Tastes good, that's all that really counts. If you like it, drink it. That's all that matters with wine. Don't worry about being intimidated by it. Send me your questions. All right. It's Riesling. The palate really reflects the nose. Really nice, subtle, just hints of sweetness in it. That sweetness is balanced by a really nice, crisp, mouth-watering acidity on the finish. The acidity reminds me of kind of a star fruit, sort of meets lemon, maybe a little bit of some stone fruit. Let's kind of go peach or nectarine, somewhere in there. Really nice Riesling, a bit floral in the nose too. One of those wines that I just want to spend a long time with because it keeps opening up and telling me new things. Taste the minerality on the palate, hints of something herbal on the finish. Nice savory wine, makes me want more, makes my mouth water. What else can I say? For $17, this is very nice Riesling. I'm impressed. It is Quails Gate. They tend to do an awesome job. Okay, so wine rating system. Where are we going to put this one? I like it. 17 bucks, super good value. This is a great Riesling. Great Riesling. Keep that in mind. All right. Next wine from Quails Gate. This is their 2010 Chenin Blanc. Same packaging. Says Chenin Blanc there on the label. 2010. Now 2009 was a much warmer vintage for the Okanagan. 2010, a little bit cooler of a vintage. So let's see how the Chenin Blanc works out. So these are from two different vintages. All right, now Chenin Blanc is a great variety. I've done it on the show a few times. You don't see it as often in British Columbia anyway. Chenin Blanc is very well known in the Loire Valley, the northern part of France. They've done some epic things with it. One area of the world where Chenin Blanc is extremely well known, has kind of put them on the map, is South Africa. There's some extremely interesting Chenin Blancs coming from South Africa, and Chenin Blanc is also a very versatile grape variety. You can make a very nice dry, still wine with it. You can make a beautiful dessert style wine. Very versatile on either side of the spectrum, and fun wine. Tends to be quite interesting. So let's see how this one goes. I think this one, it's under $20. I think it's like 18 to 20, somewhere in there. Always remember, if you look below the videos, I'll have my written reviews. It's just a quick splash of what I said on the episode, in notes about the wine and the prices and my rating with it. So you can make sure you check that out below the video. And if you're watching this on the main page, click on the title above. It'll bring you to the video page. That's where you comment. That's where you do all that. Anyway, Chenin Blanc. Ooh. Okay. Not quite as aromatic as the Riesling. Different nose on this. You get a little bit of that star fruit. Chenin Blanc can be a very racy wine too. Can have amazing acidity. Different nose on this than obviously the Riesling is different grape. Kind of a, this is banana meets star fruit and like honeydew melon. Yeah, but subtle. Not Chardonnay like, not thick like Chardonnay. Yeah, some honey, honeydew melon, this kind of thing. Very fruit forward, but kind of those ripe greenish fruits. Whoa. Okay. I like when that happens. Sometimes on a wine I'll find the nose extremely aromatic. I'm disappointed on the palate. This I'm going to go the opposite. It's the aromatics of the nose they're there, but they're hiding a little bit. The palate gives you a lot more flavor. This palate, again, basically what I said on the nose is, well, actually a little bit different. Yeah. Tons of lemon. This reminds me of Sprite almost, like lemon lime. Yeah, very much like that. The finish of this is very much like lemon lime Sprite, like I just had some lemonade. Hints of banana, some honeydew in there, a little bit of honey notes. Really nice. I'm going to call this a simple, fun, sipper. I have these at room temperature right now, so they tell me the truth. Chilled, this would be an amazing patio wine. Super refreshing. What does stand out with this is Chenin Blanc. The acidity on here is racing. It's like a razor knife going down my tongue. It's almost drying my mouth out. It's so acidic. Which is going to work awesome, like so awesome with your seafood, pasta dishes, especially if you do like a seafood with a creamy white sauce, something like that, your fettuccine alfredo with shrimp in it. This would be sensational, work really good with poultry dishes. Chenin Blanc is extremely versatile with your white meats and your foods. Hard cheeses too. This would do really well with your like Parmesan, things like that. Good wine. Solid wine. Crazy acidity. Like I said, 18, 19 bucks, something like that. Not as good as the Riesling. So I think I rated the Riesling great. I'm rambling on too much. So I'm going to call this one. This is a good wine. Definitely good wine. Good Chenin Blanc. All right, last one from Quails Gate. This is their 2009, 010. This is their 2009 Chardonnay. Now I'm curious the style they've done this Chardonnay in. Same packaging, obviously. This one I think runs you again somewhere around the $18 to $20 range. You can check it out underneath the screen, regardless, it doesn't matter. Price, ooh. Wow, just my empty glass is filled with aromas. Let's see how this one plays out. Okay, they've gone this style of Chardonnay. This is more of your oaky style Chardonnay they've gone with. I smell oak. Okay, here's an example. We're going to turn the camera here. We're going to play a little bit. You see that? There's a big barrel right there. If I smell that, it smells very similar to this. Okay, let's see if I can line you back up. There, you got a little bit of a tour of the garage. Anyway, this is an example of what I'm smelling this wine. I smell oak. I smell fresh oak. It's kind of got those honey characteristics, very kind of pina colada, like coconut, vanilla aromas, nutty. With all that, there's definitely fruit buried in here. You get a lot of that kind of cantaloupe melon, pineapple, apple, the classic Chardonnay notes. Here's the thing with Quails Gate. They're a big guy. They can't risk to make crazy, unusual wines, but all their wines are consistent and straight up, and they speak what the variety is trying to offer. And this style of Chardonnay, I haven't even tasted it yet, but it's offering this style of Chardonnay. So on the palate, there's a lot of oak in this Chardonnay. I could turn the camera and lick that barrel to give you a good example, but there's a lot of oak in this Chardonnay. I still get a lot of that apple, pineapple, tons of those oak characteristics. Very nutty, almost like salted nut, like almost macadamia from the oak. Macadamia meets coconut, a little bit of almond, vanilla-y. Those earthy oak flavors. Tastes like oak. But if you had this wine chilled, this is your oaky, evening, big bodied Chardonnay. Full bodied, creamy in the palate, mid palate, creamy all the way through. It's that style of Chardonnay. This is a full bodied white. I really enjoy these if I'm just having a nice evening to sip. Sometimes the oak, and in this case, takes a little bit away from the fruit, but with that said, it is a very well made version of this style of Chardonnay if you want those oaky flavor characteristics. Alright, Quails Gate, straight up, consistent wines. Their 09 Chardonnay, I'm going to call it good as well. Both the Chenin Blanc Chardonnay, both good. The Riesling stood out to me, very nice Riesling. Call this one great, their dry Riesling. I really like it. Actually, I had this one once. I did a super simple recipe. A baked brie with like a sun-dried tomato pesto. Just throw it in the oven, let it kind of ooze all together, make a big gooey mess, stick your crackers in it, have it with some of this, and you're in a very happy place. Everybody out there, thank you so much for watching today. Please remember what I said in the beginning of this episode. If you made it all the way through these 14 minutes, sorry it dragged a little bit long. Leave your comments below with your questions. It doesn't matter if it's related to this episode or anything to do with wine. I want to know what you want to know about wine so I can answer your questions. Don't forget, there's no such thing as a stupid question if you don't know the answer. And wine, depretentious-sized. We'll see you in the next episode.